When's the last time you got a good return on investment or built a book of business by attending never-ending networking events? Let's jump right in and take a look at the top 3 reasons why building a business off of attending networking events doesn't work. Number 1, the model itself, it doesn't work. It's a seller to seller model. So you're selling, you're going to an event to pass out business cards, to introduce yourself and what you do, the service you provide, or whatever you sell. And so is everyone else. They are there to sell as well. So it's seller to seller to seller. You're selling to sellers who are selling to other sellers. So if everybody in the room is selling, who's buying? Consumers aren't going to come to a networking event where they know they're going to be getting sold to. But that's what's happening, is that sellers are selling to other sellers and no one is buying. And the whole, I want to book a meeting with you because I've got value that I can add to your clients, maybe you to mine, without even qualifying what they do, which is hard within the course of a networking event because you're trying to meet everybody in the room. That is not necessarily true either, and we'll get to that more in a minute. But back to the model itself. Selling to other sellers, you need to be finding consumers. So you're in the wrong place, you're in the wrong space, you're in the wrong room. And even if the networking event, they try to structure it with memberships or leads lunch, or adding a social element or a charity element, or however they try to structure it. Maybe if you are allowed to give a presentation, you're still presenting to other sellers. So the model doesn't work. You're in the wrong space. If you want to build a business, you need to look for qualified buyers. Secondly, it's not a social event. I used to say or think that, or tell myself that I would use networking events as a social event, especially if I was moving to a new place or in a new town or in a new space or in a new market, whatever the case may be. Even if you see it as a social event, most of the other people there will not, and they will try to sell you. So you have to kind of put up and endure that. And understand that there is a social, of course, aspect to it. And usually the events are centered around food and alcohol. And so there is social interaction, but how many times do you have to introduce yourself? People immediately ask you what you do, exchange of business cards. So the interactions are very much the same. And to really get to know someone inside of a networking event when they're there for a different reason, it's just really disappropriately placed. When there's a better time and a place for that, you're better off going to meetup.com if you need social outlets, want to find a new group of friends, or find a group of core people that you click with and get along with within a large meetup group, and then make your friendships and your social plans accordingly. But within networking groups themselves, I've also found it's difficult to see it as a social event or to find friends. It can start out that way, especially if they start inviting you to other things that they do outside of the social event. Some of them have baseball groups or soccer groups and whatever, and that can definitely be a great social outlet if you just want to be involved in that, whatever they require, membership or not, that's up to the group. But I found that the networking groups, especially who are dominated or overseen by a board, that the board members become very cliquish, and just the people in general who are attending, or maybe you're attending with another friend already. And so it can become very cliquish and difficult to make friends. So number 1, the model doesn't work. Number 2, it's not a social event. And number 3, your time and your money are just better spent elsewhere. So if you think about it, you've got membership fees, and some of these big networking events and groups, they're not inexpensive. They can be upward of hundreds to thousands of dollars per year. And I can't really speak to the ones that are very elite and have thousands of dollars per year because I've never been a part of them. So I'm talking about more about local and regional networking groups and events. There's I think it's BMI, which is a big group, and that's about $800 a year. And they focus more on lunch leads and presenting yourself. And if you visit the group, you can visit it twice before you have to become a member or something like that. And you literally have to get up and say your name in 30 seconds and sit back down. And I can't even say my name in 30 seconds, let alone introduce myself and significantly or appropriately represent my company and what I do in 30 seconds. So again, that's just speaking toward the dysfunctional model. So think about membership fees. If it's a lunch lead, you've got to pay for lunch. If you're going to a hors d'oeuvres and wine, it's usually a cash bar, so you've got to buy your own drinks. And you think about just the time it is as well. So usually a lot of networking events are either in morning and lunch or in the evening. So it can cost you work hours and work time where you could be making income, or it can cost you social interactions where you can't go out, meet with friends, or commit to something because you've got to attend a networking event, or you miss out on time with your family. So your time and your money is really better spent elsewhere, finding qualified clients who you can actually sell to, who want what you have to offer. And oftentimes, again, these networking events are just awkward, like passing out your cards, introducing yourself. And I really have found that it tends to be oversaturated with crowded industries, and maybe more about that in a minute. But let me tell you a story, my most awkward story about a networking event that I attended, where I was in the chow line. So I was in line getting some food. I had a drink in one hand with the other hand balancing my plate and trying to put little hors d'oeuvres on it. And there's people behind me in line, of course. And this kid comes up to me right in the middle of the line, and he's in the financial industry, and I'm not making a generalization at all. I'm just, he just wanted to network and just wasn't socially aware that that was maybe an inappropriate time. And he's holding up the line, talking to me. He's trying to give me his business card, is holding it out to me, and I don't have a hand to take it with. And so I finally just said, you know what, if you could please excuse me, and maybe we could meet up again in a few minutes when I actually have a hand free and I'm not holding up a line of people. And he just, all of a sudden it dawned on him like what was happening, and he just kind of awkwardly turned away. So networking events in general to me can just be very socially awkward. And you may meet some great people, but you don't know, but there's this obligation that they feel to talk about themselves and their business, and to get to know what you do, and to book some kind of meeting that may or may not bring value without even qualifying you and what you do, to see if the clients or the people that you work with are similar at all. So another thing is, I found that with a lot of young professional groups is they don't have money. They're building a business as well. And so why would you want to go and market to people who don't have money, who don't have clients themselves? There's no mutual value add there whatsoever. In fact, another story, I've been at a networking event where at the end the bartender started talking, and they were upset. They were very upset because out of 150 people who attended this networking event, by the time they split the tips from the wine that the young people bought, they each got like $20. So that's just an example of, especially, not just particular, I guess, to young people. You just have to know your audience. And with so many different people and anybody and everybody who could attend a networking event if they wanted to, just because it's open to the public, you don't really know what kind of demographic you're working with. So what's a better solution? So, okay, Mary, you gave me these reasons I shouldn't attend networking events. They're a waste of time. To me, they're a waste of time. That doesn't mean you can never get a client, that you can never meet a friend, or that something beneficial cannot come out of it. But if you're using that as a main way, as you want to build your business, and you're attending 2 to 3 or more networking events per week, then you really want to stop and just do an evaluation and an assessment of your ROI on those networking events. Because I'm not saying that it can't be done, but I'm finding this very difficult, and that there are better ways. So here's a better solution. My solution is, have things that sell your thing, because maybe you can't necessarily yourself sell your thing starting out, but you have something that you can it can be the thing that sells your thing. So in other words, I read a book and I forget the title of it, but there's a story about a man who sells yoga mats. And he was not having much success, and no matter what he was doing, probably was attending a lot of networking events. And he finally just decided, I'm going to find personal trainers. So he's qualifying people who are in a like business or who could use his product. So yoga teachers, gym owners, and he started asking them if he could sell his mats to them, or if he could give a voucher for a mat. However they worked it out, so that they, it was mutually beneficial, so that his mat became the thing that sold their personal training packages, or the yoga teachers or the gym members, the trainers, personal trainers, or the gym owners gave the yoga mat seller a voucher for a free week at the gym, or a free personal training session, or one free yoga class. And for every person that the yoga mat seller sent them, who then signed up for packages, these people then gave him referral money. And so soon he was generating so much income from his thing that sold his thing, that he started selling the yoga mats himself at cost and sending them to the gyms, to the teachers, to the classes, and it just became mutually beneficial. So it's better for you to find people who are closely related to what you do in your niche, in your industry, and it does need to be a niche, because riches are in the niches. And you, again, going to networking events, a lot of times they're very overcrowded with people in the financial sector. And that's fine. Being in a crowded industry is fine, just as long as you find out and develop what makes you unique and what makes you specific, why people should do business with you over all of the other people. And not only the people who are in your space, but not only that, it's the networking events are overcrowded as well with MLMs and direct sellers. And so it can be a lot of jewelry, a lot of vitamins, just things like that. And so how can you mutually add benefit to someone who's not even closely related to the industry that you're in? So maybe if you do home inspections, you partner with a realtor and say, I will come do a home inspection on your house. So if you want to work with someone, give them a reason to want to work with you. Incent them. Find out more about them first, qualify them first, and then develop an infographic, a gift card, a certificate, a voucher that you can give to them to give to their clients, because you work with the same type of clients. And for every time a person uses the gift card or the voucher to use your services, you then incent the person you collaborated with, so the real estate, maybe in your case, if you're a home inspection person, and you give them 10%, or you give them referral money, whatever, so they have a reason to refer you, and also give them something free from what you do, so they actually have used your services and feel comfortable in knowing you and representing that referral, because they've used your services and they really appreciate what you have to offer and value it. So incent them, give them a reason. So spend your time, instead of a big fish pond, like really narrowing down who you can work with, who you can collaborate with, who you can network with, who can be in your network of people that is related to what you do, can help be your thing that sells the thing. And I wish I could remember the title of that book, because it was all about building a value ladder and incorporating, partnering with other people. In my industry, I sell very high-end travel, and so I collaborate with personal trainers at very high-end gyms, and I do give them clients or vouchers to give to their clients as they make their weight loss or health or fitness goals. And then at the end, when they've attained everything, we talk about sending them on an amazing trip or vacation experience to celebrate the accomplishments that they've made. And know what you're offering too by the time you set up a meeting with someone. So let's get back to that. I have people who reach out to me on LinkedIn all the time, and they say that they want to connect with me and meet up with me for coffee to see what mutual value add we can add to each other's clients. And a lot of times they don't even qualify me first. They don't even ask me like the extent of what I do and what type of people I work with. And so I, want to be open to it. And so I will usually counter back with, okay, I'm happy to do that. First, give me just one reason, one small reason off the top of your head, one thing that you can do to add value to my clients. Here's who I work with. And 9 times out of 10, they either say, I don't know, or they don't get back to me at all. So you need to be prepared. If someone comes to you and they do want to collaborate with you, you do want to meet with them for that mutual value add with your clients, then have an infographic, have something prepared so that they know exactly why they should collaborate with you, because you've thought it all out and you've structured a plan, a process, and a program, and it's very easy for them to say, yes, okay. And for me, so I don't end up usually taking those kind of meetings, because those are not people who want to add value to your clients. They're there to sell you. And if they weren't there to sell you, they could easily come up with off the top of their head with something like, would you send out client Christmas cards? Can I sponsor your client Christmas cards this year? Do you ever have a gala where you need silent auction items? Can I donate something? If you're not, they're just there to sell you. So they can't off the top of their head think of something like that. So spend your time focusing on that. Get out of the networking groups. You feel probably like you have to do it because this is something that everybody does, and it just makes me feel like I'm doing something or I'm accomplishing something, and it's not. It can be a complete waste of your time. If you want to join a mastermind group, that may be more advantageous for you, where you actually think of ways that you can grow your business. And you're interacting with other people who are entrepreneurs and who are very creative like you, and so you can bounce ideas and things off of each other. But also understand that the networkers, that the sellers are going to be infiltrating those groups as well, because of course we all like to be opportunists. So get out of the crowded avenues of selling and develop your own, and hopefully you've gotten something from this video. Thanks so much for listening. I'd love to hear your stories about networking events, and if your successes and even funny stories that you have, I'd love for you to interact in the comments. Thank you.